learning on radio, because radio really, I fell in love with doing this by listening to radio, whether it was you, Marty Brenneman and Joe Nuxall, listening to talk shows, Pete Franklin out of Cleveland. I was fortunate, but I'm listening, and the power of just listening to words and then creating your own picture, whatever that might be, is really powerful. And I was never able to master a play-by-play, but it did help me in communicating in what I do on this show. And that is, don't take it for granted they know what you're talking about or what it looks like. You got to make sure you explain it to them, and always think of the radio listener more than the TV viewer.
No question. And especially in my era in Cincinnati, there weren't that many games on television. So the vast majority of games were radio only on WLW. And I would always picture, maybe a guy sitting on a porch in Corbin, Kentucky, having a beverage and sitting out there, in the twilight in the summertime. And I was kind of doing the game for him. It's so much different now, of course, on television and with social media and with streaming and all of the rest. It's so much different. But if you go back to that point in time, you're exactly right. It's radio. I mean, to this day, I think about, we go back to Vin Scully for a second. And Vinny did the games until, 4 or 5 years ago. So Vinny was in his late 80s when he stepped away, and he was still phenomenal. And I can't tell you, listening to him from the time I was 6 till the time, I'm Vinny's 88 years old in his last season. And I'd be driving, back home from someplace, and Vinny would start to tell a story, and I'd have to stop the car in the driveway, keep it idling, and just hear the rest of the story. I mean, that's how compelling Vinny was. He was just the master of that to the day he retired. And it's so true. This is where you really, cut your eye teeth, earn your chops, or whatever you want to say about it. But radio is the way to go. It's so much different right now, as we know.